Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm up at Loretto Ski area and discovered this Skyway T-bar, and this particular T-bar's got some interesting history to it. Lloyd Edwards, my father's business partner, actually installed this lift at Loretto, and he actually sold the lift to Loretto. So Lloyd Edwards, my dad's business partner, when they started Valley Schuss in 1960, Lloyd moved up to Orangeville and was actually living at Valley Schuss. And at that time, he was working for Greening Metal Products in Orangeville. And if you remember from one of my previous Facebook posts, I showed where Twin Horse had a T-bar that was built. It was a one-off built T-bar by Greening Metal Products. So after that subsequent one-off build at Twin Horse, Greening Metal Products went on to make a few more T-bars. And eventually, I don't think those lifts were that successful, and Greening Metal Products, which is now Greening Donald, that's still in Orangeville, quit making the T-bar. So the story goes somewhere in the early 60s, Lloyd Edwards went to Timberland Ellicott, which is in Woodstock, Ontario, and they decided to start making some ski lifts. And so what they made was this particular Skyway T-bar. So you can see the TE for Timberland Ellicott, and Skyway was the T-bar. So Lloyd Edwards at that time was working with their engineers, because Lloyd was an engineer as well, to design a T-bar that was more affordable than the Hull T-bar, because the Hull T-bars back then were probably the most popular, made out of Watertown, New York. So they designed this T-bar, and at that time, Lloyd Edwards started his own side business called, it was Lloyd Edwards Equipment Sales, and he was selling ski lifts at that particular time in the early 60s, and then that evolved into selling SMI snowmaking equipment in the early 70s. But so when Timberland Ellicott designed this T-bar, Lloyd was their exclusive salesman basically for Southern Ontario. So in this area, all the ski resorts that I'm chronicling here in the Hockley Valley and literally in Southern Ontario, I'm almost 100% sure Lloyd Edwards sold all of these Skyway T-bars. So not only did he sell them, he also offered a service to survey the property for ski areas to show them where the best location to install the T-bar. And then in this particular case with this T-bar, so Lloyd sold it to him. He surveyed the property here at Loretto and told him the best place to put the T-bar in. And Lloyd actually installed this particular T-bar. So I think this is an awesome piece of history, that this particular T-bar, I think, was put in, I'm not 100% sure, around 1965. That's when Loretto first opened. So they may have started off with an actual T-bar, and then there's a rope tow right behind this particular T-bar. But it's just fascinating to be able to see this piece of history that's still standing today, of a Skyway T-bar that was made by Timberland Ellicott, and that was actually sold and installed by Lloyd Edwards, my father's business partner. So interesting piece of trivia. So there's another look at the Skyway T-bar. It's interesting to see the drivetrain up there. It's still all intact. Man, what a great find! What a great piece of history here for all these old skiers to find an actual Skyway T-bar made by Timberland Ellicott that's still basically all intact. And there's looking up the lift line. Over here, there's some remnants of the old rope tow that I know Lloyd and Murray Edwards, his son, installed this rope tow, and this is pretty typical for back in the day for these basically homemade rope tows. But you could get a little closer here, you can see the the drivetrain. Work my way back here, but they're were pretty basic in design, but worked really well. Interesting time capsule. So here again, this would have been built in 1965 time frame. And then I'm assuming it would go up as I make my way out of the woods here. I'm assuming it ran just along the tree line here, and then up probably to where the grass is mowed there, somewhere up in that area, and turned around, and all this area out here was probably where the beginners would get off the rope tow and ski down in this general area. Anybody that skied at Loretto, you can make a comment if that's true or not, but this looks like where they would have used the rope tow.